My name is David Volk, and I'm a CheapBastard. You know, I almost feel when I say that, like I'm in a support group where I say, you know, my name is David V, and I say, hello, David, and I talk about my own personal vice. But the only difference is that being a cheap bastard isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. I bet Martha Stewart would tell you that. Especially in these economic times. Millions of people are unemployed, benefits are running out, many adults are moving back in with their parents, and I'm hearing reports, that even dogs and cats are being forced to move in together.
Mass hysteria.
Yes, panic in the streets. Even people who have jobs are looking over their shoulders trying to find ways to economize in case the unthinkable happens and that whole dog and cat thing doesn't take. That's all I'm saying. So what are we to do? We can sit around in our underwear, scratch ourselves, drink beer, watch the O'Reilly Factor, and shake our fists at the screen. Or we can just get out of the house. And that's why my book is so important. No matter what your employment status, hired, fired, laid off, lady in waiting, traded for a player to be named later, the CheapBastard Guide to Seattle is chock full of stuff you can do for free and cheap, free or cheap, and a lot of this stuff you didn't even know about. Many people know they can see a play for free when they volunteer to usher, but most don't know who to contact at the individual theater company when they want to do it. Far fewer know what a great deal ushering at the Seattle International Film Festival is. After all, when you volunteer to usher at the festival, you not only get to see the movie you're volunteering at, but then you earn a voucher to see another movie. And the vouchers are good not only during the festival, but throughout the year, because there are a lot of other festivals. And as my cousin Richard, who's in the crowd, will tell you, if you volunteer, and I've done this as well, before the festival, you earn the vouchers. So if you do enough work, you could just put your feet up during the festival, put your hands behind your head, and just sit and watch movies. The best part is that the book is funny, or at least as funny as I can make it, while still writing 60,000 words in 90 days. Be a stay-at-home dad to 2 active toddlers, and continue freelancing. How funny? Well, now that depends upon your taste. Ron Holden at Cornichon called me estimable and commented on the estimable. I had to look that up. I was really
Put in a tattoo.
Yeah, I was just now I know how Dave Barry felt when he was given a Pulitzer Prize for distinguished commentary. When he heard it, his response was, I don't write distinguished commentary, I write Booker jokes. To Mr. Holden, who I know, I asked simply, does estimable mean goofy? If so, then I'm estimable, or maybe I'm misunderestimable.
Misunderestimated.
And here's a modest sampling of some of my favorite entries in the book so you can be the judge. I have these numbered, and sometimes they're hard to find. I'll start off with the hair chapter. Now, most of the people who know me know I'm a great clips kind of guy, so they were surprised that I was doing a chapter on hair salons. Right? Foils, facials, tinting. It was like entering a whole new world. I had no idea, which is how I came up with a few of these listings. The Greenwood Academy of Hair, which I just found out from Google. This is not the prettiest looking building on its block in Seattle's Greenwood neighborhood, but it's been around long enough that you can be sure it's no fly-by-night operation. Now, I read that last week in Greenwood, and they all had a good laugh because it had moved overnight. and then I finish off with, talk about the services, and I say cuts range from $10.95 to $13.95, color $42.95 to $48.95. Keep in mind I have no idea what any of this is. And customized facials are $42.95. There's also a foot facial for $26.95. Who knew feet had a face? So another in that chapter also was the Jean Juarez Academy of Hair. A friend of mine had years and years ago turned me on to them when I discovered I had curly hair, and I did not know that. So, let me see. Here it is. I say there are beauty school dropouts, and then there are these guys. The advanced training salon is for people who already have their haircutting license and want to go on to the next level. Whatever that. Then I go again through, I mean, the listings are very detailed, so I won't bore you with all the detail, but finishing off with, they also offer a perfect blow dry, which is a wash and a blow dry for $20. Me, I'd rather save the money and have an imperfect one. So there's the first chapter in the book is about theater. A lot of it is where you can usher. Some of it is free outdoor plays. I had never heard of ear to the ground theater. If theater companies had theme songs, Send in the Clowns might be the theme song for this group. But not the bad kind of clown like the scary Stephen King clowns, but the goofy guy you'd hire to perform at your 3-year-old's birthday party. Instead, they prefer theatrical style clowning. Think commedia dell'arte or corporeal mime. We're not sure what that is either. Also, I talk about the Seattle Outdoor Theater Fest, which is a great bargain. It's all free. Much more successful than the Winter Outdoor Theater Festival. The summer celebration of the lively arts is held at Volunteer Park and features at least 10 performances over 2 days. So you can pack a lunch, dinner, an evening snack, and a blanket and watch to your heart's content, or until your butt grows numb from all that sitting. Then again, more details. I do a chapter about free music. There are a lot of places you go to see free music all over town. One of the odder ones is the John Howie Steakhouse, which is at the Braeburn. Keep in mind, I don't get to steakhouses as much with 2 toddlers, but it has an unusual element to it. If people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, what shouldn't people who play glass pianos do? You might not find the answer at John Howie's Steaks Piano Bar in Bellevue's high-end mall, the Braeburn, but if you take up a seat at the showpiece, you'll get to see the piano work while you dine. And isn't that the mark of a high-quality musical experience after all? And then there's Hemp Fest. Everybody knows about Hemp Fest, so not a great surprise. But you know, I just think my editors they made a what is either a brilliant move or a horrible, terrible mistake. They just said, "Go, man, have fun." So they let me run wild, and I did. Hemp Fest, part political gathering, part weekend-long concert. Hemp Fest's goal is to spread the word about hemp and advocate the legalization of marijuana.
Does anybody have any advising?
No, I'm sorry, I used your own voice there. That was bad. I was like, does anybody have advising? I guess it's probably better. Thanks to Allison Peacock and a little bit of historic research. I mean, you get a lot of the guidebooks you see. You get bare bones description. You get a little bit of history. I decided, you know, that you should have history is a very interesting thing. And if the history that you find isn't interesting, well, then you should make it up. Contra, square, swing, Lindy Hop. Seattle has always been a dancing kind of town. In fact, back in the 1950s, it was so popular here that it seemed like you couldn't swing a cat without hitting a dance hall. Those glory days are gone, of course. And it's a good thing, because cats don't really make good swing partners. As it well, that's the best reaction I've had so far. As it turns out, they're moody and they prefer to waltz. Now, and I do mention a lot of restaurants, a lot of happy hours, and one of my personal favorites, I was taken there initially by Nick Frazier, but I had heard of it. How many of you have heard of Bakeman's Deli?
Yes.
Oh, this is, I mean, amazing. It's cheap. The sandwiches are like $4.95, and it's just the most amazing place. If you have not been, you must go. So, here we go. My description of Bakeman's. which is, by the way, at 122 Cherry Street. It's subterranean. Bateman's decor may be interesting, but most people don't come to the subterranean restaurant for atmosphere. The lunch crowd lines up around the block for the inexpensive sandwiches served with a side of good-natured abuse from a counterman who keeps things moving along whenever a diner's indecision threatens to slow the pace. When I was here with Nick, he not only abused a person who couldn't make up their mind for what they wanted to order, he then turned around and abused one of the wait staff behind him because they didn't have the sandwich in the bag fast enough. It was like, and then they abused Nick just because they knew him. Which, now that I think about it, probably was sort of married. But anyways, continuing. Comparisons to the soup Nazi on the TV show Seinfeld are only natural, but not quite accurate. He's more like a sandwich martinet. And then the last two of my favorite entries. I have a lot of yoga and meditation in here. I'm not really quite sure why, but this is what I came across, and in other books they've done it, and I said, well, if they do it, I should do it too. And I came across this rather interesting meditation. The Vidyana Foundation. Free beginning meditation classes are held every Monday at 6:30 p.m. It may be nice to achieve the relaxed state meditation can bring you and gain useful tools for helping cope with aspects of our everyday lives. But apparently, the organizers aren't as relaxed about your comings and goings. The organization's website suggests arriving a few minutes early because the doors are locked promptly at 6:30. Does that mean you can zone out anytime you'd like, but you may never leave? And my favorite, which is, how many have been to Home Depot? How many have spent hours looking for the people to help you? How many? Okay, so this book was also a chance to take shots at people on the east side, people at Home Depot, just, whoever. And there was this entry in the children's chapter. I don't know if you know this, but Home Depot and Lowe's have workshops for kids. They can build all sorts of little things. It's once a month on a Saturday, and this is my listing for Home Depot. Maybe the workshops offered on the first Saturday of every month will allow our children to succeed where we have failed. I have no doubt the classes that teach them how to build things like rain gauges and race cars will make them feel more comfortable around tools at an earlier age. What I want to know is, will it help them learn the secret to finding where all the employees are hiding whenever you have a question? Classes go from 9 a.m. to noon. There are no materials, fees, and kids get to keep what they build. And they even get a child-sized orange apron, which should come in handy when they want to play hide and seek.